Hey guys, I got a brand new package today, and I know for a fact this is my Tattletail plush from Youtooz because I checked and it did came in the mail today. I saw the notification. So I'm gonna go on ahead and unbox this. Because last time when I got a Youtooz plush in the mail, I thought it was Tattletail, but it was actually my Anya plush from mouthwashing. Yep, there he is. Here is Tattletail. Let me get him out of this Youtooz packaging real quick. And here he is. Before we review the Tattletail plush, I actually want to review the side tags because there's something really special about these tags. So here is the first one. It's a very standard traditional Youtooz tag. And here's the inside of the tag. But the coolest part, it comes with the tag from the game. Like, they just straight up ripped the tag from the game and they just made it into an authentic tag. It's just really cool to have. And part of me is tempting to just remove this Youtooz tag off of the chain and keep the, like, authentic Tattletail tag on. But it's just really cool that Youtooz actually included this. I really like this. So the front of the Tattletail tag is actually really glossy and shiny, while the back is more matted. But they both have the same text and everything. Now with the tags out of the way, let's go on ahead and review the plushie. So the Tattletail plush from Youtooz is really tall. It's about 10 inches tall. All the details like the eyes, the mouth, and the nose, they are all embroidered to the plushie. He actually has some blush details on his cheeks right here. Although unfortunately, the blush will absolutely fade over time. I would know because the Fat Mojo Doki Doki Literature Club plushies, they all had little blush details on their faces, and unfortunately over time they just naturally faded away. In fact, I think the only DDLC plush I have that has the little blush details still is Natsuki, though it's really hard to tell. But this review isn't about DDLC, it's about Tattletail. I think a better way they could have done the blush details is making the cheeks a more 3D shape and apply printing on the cheeks. So that way the blush is actually permanent. Because here's the thing, I don't mind printing as long as it looks good. Which there is some printing on the plush, which I don't mind. If you look at the legs, he has the little leg bands, which is accurate to the toy in the game, which is really cool to see. Because this is a small detail that I've noticed a lot of people missing on Tattletail. And they are actually sewn onto the back of the legs so they can't come off. The fur on the plush is extremely soft. I love the fabric that they used. Here's a little look at the tuft of fur on the head on Tattletail. You can easily mess with it and pose it however you like. And here's a closer look at Tattletail's tail. The tail has a lot of stuffing, and you can easily mess around with the fur to pose it however you like. Tattletail comes with, and I quote, "Yourself a genuine egg hole." And due to that feature, he actually comes with an egg. Within the game, if you don't know, these are little collectible items throughout the game you can get. And by collecting all these little eggs, you can actually get the good ending for the game. And something that's really cool about this plush is I've noticed this specific plushie is based off of the concept art for Tattletail. So here's a little comparison of the concept art for the character design of Tattletail to the Youtooz plush. Now let's compare the 3 Tattletail plushies I currently own. So here's a comparison of the bootleg Tattletail plush that was relatively easy to find on Amazon and eBay. As you can see, the main difference is the hair tufts on the top of the head. The bootleg plush has just a thick piece of felt. The nose, it doesn't shape like a heart, but it's actually plastic. The inside of the ears use a synthetic or nylon material. And the bootleg plush doesn't have a tail. Next up for the Fat Mojo prototype Tattletail plush. They're both relatively the same, honestly, with a few minor differences. So like I mentioned before, the cheek details on the Fat Mojo plush is actually more 3D. The nose is wrapped in fabric and is actually a button. And lastly, he lacks a tail and a leg band detail. However, something that's really interesting to note though is both the bootleg and the unreleased Fat Mojo plush, their mouth details are actually 3D. Meanwhile, the Youtooz release is just a nylon fabric that's just sewn into the plush. And here's a little comparison of the Youtooz plush to some other indie game plushies. So the Youtooz plush doesn't have a whole 3D mouth design. Anyways, here's the front of the Youtooz Tattletail plush. Here's the side. Here's the back. Here is a closer look at the Youtooz tag. And here's the other side. So here's my plush review on the Youtooz Tattletail plush. I'm really happy that we finally have a publicly released product for Tattletail. I do hope eventually we'll get more plushies from Youtooz, especially a Mama Tattletail. That would be really cool. And if for some reason Youtooz makes any vinyl figures, I really hope that the Mama Tattletail figure could have a head swivel. That would be a really neat detail that they could give. But overall, I'm just really happy Youtooz actually released this plush. And I really hope that we can get more products in the future. But with that out of the way, this is my plush review on the Youtooz Tattletail plush.